we are live.
We are, and we are going to talk about something that we all have. If you're watching this, you have one, and it is your body.
A
And
beautiful vehicle. Yeah.
yeah, and it wasn't always that way for me. And our topic today is, what if your body could be free from reaction? Hmm. So, can I tell you a story?
Yes, please.
Today, I swim a lot. I live 5 minutes from a beautiful pool, and I was swimming today, and this guy didn't see me, and he kicked me in the nose with his leg. And if that had occurred like 10 years ago, I would have went, "Wah!" you know. And today it occurred, and I swam up, and I just put my hands on my nose, and I ran the facelift process and xerosoma trauma, and my nose is like perfect, and so I went back in and I was swimming. I just came over to the side of the pool and I ran the facelift. It's an amazing process in the 3-day body cast, and you can learn the facelift process as a 1-day process too. And as I'm running it, I was laughing at the level of ease that I have with the things in my life now. Like when I recognized that the guy was there, I was like, oh, he's going to bump into me, And so immediately I'm aware and I'm present with what my body requires. And years ago, that wasn't the case. The only way that I can put this is I had a very high adrenal overload reactivity in my body.
Like a physical sensation.
Yeah, like physical sensation. If a gate banged, I would jump. Or I had been in a car crash. If I heard the bang of a car, I would jump. And so our body knows what's locked in there in regard to a residue of a car crash or a fall or an accident, or it can be anything. It can be an abusive environment, or it could be a really angry teacher or an angry parent where we contract to compress. And so for me, I had a lot of very violent points of views pushed at my body, as do most people, but they don't even recognize it because they're not connected to their body. And so one of the things that creates a lot of reaction and contraction and unease and not enjoying your body is judgment. And so I had all these judgments locked into my body. That's going to hurt me, or because whatever had occurred to me in other lifetimes as a child, the flow of energy through my body. Let's say the guy kicked his leg and it touched the side of my little nose. Does that energy of the kick, can I deal with that? Can I touch it? Can I talk to my body and move that energy out? And so there was a disruption in things that had occurred in my life, be that like a cross teacher, or how do I know that I was affected by teachers? Because when I was in learning situations, I would get quite nervous. And so I started to recognize, in relationships, and we've talked about this, I couldn't say the things that I required or that I wanted because I wasn't allowed to ask for what I want. And so I would go, oh, can I say this? Is this okay? And
Yeah. It's a lot of beyonds.
yeah.
Locked
And
in the body.
yeah, in Access Consciousness, you learn this in your foundation. To come to a 3-day body class, you actually require a foundation class. And there are all these beyond of, this is going to happen. I'm going to get hurt. I can't deal with this. I can't ask for what I want. I can't deal with this person. I can't deal with this conversation. I can't deal with this grief. Grief is a huge beyond for people. I talked to a friend of mine today that had massive grief locked into her body because she hasn't yet moved from missing someone that she loves that's no longer has a body. And so these are all and then you don't get into another relationship because you're afraid of loss, you know? And this is huge. Like every single day we walk through a world where there's so much information overloaded at us. And where is your body in that? Where is the caring for your body? Where's the nurturing for your body in that?
That's rather violent how we treat our bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you put it like that, it's all the input and, well, not really a solution. We don't really learn a solution how to get it out of the system.
Yeah.
Breath work or yoga or whatever, but sometimes it just doesn't touch the trauma.
Yeah. And like, I haven't met anyone who hasn't had some type of trauma, be it like a very power over boss, someone who's controlling, be it controlling parents, you know. For me, I have ADHD, ADD, and OCD, and I take information in a very different way. And because of that, I was always looking at how wrong I was, which was a contraction again that I'd locked into my body, which is a judgment and a lie. And so when I recognized that I'm different and I take information in a different way, and I acknowledged the different ways that I take in information, then everything changes, and I have space and I have gratitude for me. And you get the one thing about the 3-day body class, I've done a lot of them. I facilitated probably 100 or more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm just looking, I'm like, 2021, 2023. Yeah, I facilitated quite a lot of them. And so one of the things that I've noticed is my body has become way more relaxed. I don't compress and contract. Even today, I didn't compress and contract. And the big thing for me, Annette, is I don't have to run away from any energy, be that like someone getting angry, be that someone trying to control me, be that someone trying to diminish me or tell me the way that I should live my life or the way I'm supposed to do something. I now have developed a presence with what do I know about my body. And I have developed this communion with my body that's so beautiful. And it is just, it's so different. And I remember years ago, I said I knew there was some stuff in my body, you know. I had a friend that lived in South Africa, and when she would hear sirens, when she moved to the UK, she would like, you know, and that's a trauma locked into the body.
Definitely.
And so, yeah. Or if you're around someone that when you say something and they have a judgment about it or they try and shut you down, that's a judgment. Depression is a judgment locked into the body, because depression is just extended sadness, essentially.
Yeah.
And then if you're made wrong for that and told you can't change that, instead of looking at what is creating the depression, what occurred somewhere that is creating this sense of suppression of joy, you know. And through the body work, I've changed depression. I was completely depressed, which was massive sadness that wasn't processed, you know. It's wild. It's wild what can be created when you run these body processes on the body.
And like the depression, I recognize it. And what I've learned in other disciplines I did was locking it in my body, really, because I was told I had to protect myself. I had to put myself in a golden egg. I had to put myself in roses, and I had this huge contraction in my body. Because of the body processes. I can be open. I can be like really open in space, not just as a thing in my head. I have to be space, I have to do space, but no, really, really from within, from my body, like, oh, this is space. And that is such a difference. Then protect yourself, don't let anything in, and put your walls and barriers up for negativity, and wow.
Which is a lot of energy. Like if you're watching this right now, like try to push up all your barriers and keep everything out.
Yeah.
That takes so much force, you know. Whereas for me, it's like anything that you barrier from, you have decided that it's greater than you and you can't deal with that. And so for me, the body work, thank you so much for this. I didn't even recognize how many barriers I had walking through the world. Like I didn't even recognize the barriers that I put up, like daily walking through, you know, your workplace or walking through society. If people were angry in the car park, or you know, circumstance, or I was angry, you know.
Yeah.
So I had all these barriers up to, I would say I became very, very hard actually.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that my softness has returned, because now with all the hardness, I had a point of view that I can't be cared for and nobody cares about me. And that's simply not true. You know, I live on a planet that's not a prison planet, even though it is for some people. It was for me for a while, you know, which is judgment. We're talking about prismatic prisms of judgment. It's where you, no matter what way you look, you turn to judgment. And now I know that I can look after myself, that I know what I require and what doesn't work for me. And it's such a beautiful way to live.
Wow. Wow. What an invitation to greater, to bigger, to space, to like really release yourself from reaction.
I love that. I love that. Release yourself from reaction. Yeah. And so if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I'd love to come to the 3-day body class, we have one. Is it the 9th of August?
Yeah, next week, Friday, 9th of August.
9th of August, I'll be in, Annette, you've got to pronounce this for me because I'm so bad.
Maasluis.
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 Very Dutch. Maasluis. I spent a lot of time in Holland. Maasluis.
Maasluis.
And we would love to have you join us. And Annette, what's the big change that you saw in getting the body work wrong?
What I've experienced myself. Oh, definitely the space I mentioned earlier, and the connection, because I was living as a hotel manager before I got into shiatsu and stuff, and it's like just ahead, nobody. And I've taught yoga for 17 years, and I didn't have a body connection. I did not. And I feel a bit ashamed, not really, to say it, but it's confronting that even 17 years of teaching yoga, 7 classes a week.
I taught Pilates for 10 years, for probably. Someone's cutting the grass in Zealand, and it's running inside.
I got my neighbor who's doing the grass.
So for me, I was stunned that I didn't have any true connection, like deep connection into my body, and wasn't listening to it. You know, I was just overriding it because I had no deep connection. And what you said is, you said I was living as a hotel manager, thinking. And thinking is actually a barrier to receiving. And I still have to work on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, thinking, no connection with the body, bad food, long hours, and not even think about that. Just automatic pilot. Like, wow. And I think of it now, it's so much changed with the body processes.
Yeah. Yeah. I became a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. A personality, but more on that. Like, I became like this personality, like Barbie Rachel. Here's Rachel, the mother, and here's all her jobs and what she must do. Here's Rachel, the employee. Here's Rachel, the Pilates teacher. Here's Rachel, the wife. And I would get into bed crying, you know, because I didn't have that true communion and connection with myself.
And how would you describe you as Rachel now?
It's so beautiful that you asked me that. I exist for me, actually. Before, I didn't think my value, I didn't think I was valuable unless I was looking after others, taking care of their wants, needs, desires, which is a massive thing that the body work helped with me too. I was quite codependent, and I needed people to need me. Whereas Rachel now, I really look at, if I was existing for me, I got this life, I got it for free. It was a free gift. This body was a free gift. It's a blessing, you know. And now I really function from question and what would I like to have as my life? What are the energies that bring me alive? Like swimming today, wearing a nice guna. Guna is Irish for dress. Having a lovely space in my apartment, you know. So Rachel now is very reaching for joy and light and space. And I truly know what works for me. What works for me is I do very, very well when I'm working on projects. I do very, very well and when I have a lot of space, and I don't blame anyone for my life. I take ownership of what I choose now and the choices that I make. So now I've become an adult, I suppose. Yeah, yeah. And I can support my children beautifully, you know. Sometimes they don't want it, sometimes they just want me to be on the phone and say hello. So I can be a massive support for people because I now can take care of myself.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Whew.
yeah, 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 which is wonderful, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, truly, truly. Yeah. So we'll be in, say it one more time, Annette.
Maassluis.
Maassluis.
It's a very picturesque little town.
I can't believe that I haven't been there, actually, because I spent so much time in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So Maassluis, we'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You do require the foundation prereq within a year. For those of you that take access classes, you know what I'm talking about. And we would love to have you join us, and we would love to have your body. And if you're watching this and you're like, what is this body work? Because I know I've got some reactions to when a car slams or when a boss walks towards me. I have this like intimidation or diminishment or this like I did something wrong energy. Check out the Access Consciousness body work. You can go to Annette for sessions in Zealand, and you can get body processes all over the world. There's 3-hour intros. We invite you. It worked. I'm not saying it works for everyone, but it worked for me.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for your time, and I'll see you next Friday. I can't wait.
In Maassluis.
Maassluis.
Yeah.
Maassluis. Beautiful. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you, Rachel.
Have a lovely evening, everyone, and hope you're enjoying your summer. The weather is so beautiful in Europe. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.